ever have a coherent deck with these 4 tags. That's the main problem. Like, what's a deck that can play Vampire and Dwarf in the same deck? There's not that many neutral dwarves or neutral vampires. Did Leo watch any more Cocomelon? Not since we talked about it. We are already, like, even before you mentioned it, we were already trying to get him away from watching those sort of videos and more like Bluey type of stuff or Peppa Pig type of stuff that has an actual story and characters and a plot happening. If like, we don't really give him any screen time at all. We pretty much don't give him any screen time at all, but like when we do, I'd rather him watch that sort of plot stuff. Troubadour into Plumard. Oh, Troubadour is a dwarf. Plumard. Oh, whoa, J. William James. Oh, did you just come up with a Metabreaker? I'm still looking through the specials to see if there's anything that targets more than one ally at this time, and I don't think so. I think it's just Frog Mating Season. I mean, Plumards aren't bad. Plumards are good, right? Plumards are good. People are talking about potentially buffing Plumard to 5 power as well. Like, you could play Troubadour, Plumard. You could play, what's his face? Betsy, her face. What's her face? Betsy and Morntart. Maybe Harpies. And then Inspirational Ballad. But you would need humans and witchers. But humans and witchers, there's plenty of neutral humans and witchers that you could probably fit into your deck. Like, the Bonded Plumard will play for a lot of points. Bonded Plumard basically is like a freaking Tirgv. Except it's slow. It's a slow Tirgv. It needs a lot of turns, but it has pretty good value. Unfortunately, you can't play Devotion Unseen Elder with Troubadours. But you could play with Flutter. Flutter, it would be good with Flutter. Hey, Gulo. As someone without kids, what's the difference between Cocomelon and something like Bluey? Basically, Cocomelon's videos are mostly just like songs. They're often very, very repetitive. The videos are extremely saturated and have very quick cuts. Very quick cuts from one scene to the next. And that sort of stuff is not good for your kid's brain. Or for their like attention span and stuff like that. And they're like designed to be really, really addicting. And whereas a show like Bluey has, like, Cocomelon stuff has no plot, really. And no plot, no characters. Well, they have like some characters, but their like characters are like nameless. There's not really a story going on. Whereas like Bluey, it teaches like real human social interactions, and like fun things that families might do together. And they have characters and a lot more dialogue and plot, and like teaches more like good lessons and stuff like that. What about Blippi? I've seen a couple of Blippi videos. He's okay. I would say better than Cocomelon, not as good as Bluey. He has this like really silly voice. I'm pretty sure it's like purposely done to like try to be like more high pitched, more silly, more engaging, try to get kids' attentions. His stuff doesn't really have much of a plot either. It's just him like the videos that I've seen is just him like as a grown ass adult man playing in kids' playgrounds and showing off stuff like that, which is a little bit weird, but I don't know. It's I think it's not as damaging as Cocomelon. Yeah, and Baby Shark is also very like repetitive and popular, so that's why it's the most played, most replayed toddler video. But yeah, but your Witcher is probably Geralt, which uses a tall punish at the end of the game. It could be, yeah, that's true. Brighton says, I think I used to see a deck playing Plubart and the thing from the box to lose on purpose and finish with 13 bleed boost to Flutter. Ooh. Trying to make sure your kid doesn't watch harmful garbage seems exhausting. Yeah, it can be. We're just like not letting him watch too much stuff right now at all. Our kid watched a lot of Blippi. Right now they're going through Hilda. I haven't heard of Hilda. Definitely watch The Last Airbender with him when he gets older. That would be good. I hear the show's great and I haven't watched it. I've never seen it. I hear it's actually like pretty good even for adults. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to take too big of a detour right now, but I want to save this idea and maybe explore it in the future, especially if Plumard ever got buffed. Inspirational Ballad, Plumard. I'm gonna just put this here, and we can go Plumard. Bonded. Something like that. And then Inspirational Ballad. Triss. Pelican. Something maybe like this. Where do we get our Witcher? What's a Witcher that we wouldn't mind playing that early? I wonder if this would be a Nova deck. And Carapace is not necessary. I just don't know what leader he uses right now. Eskel? I mean, Eskel prevents you from playing humans, and we're not going to play. Well, we're not going to play Eskel. Siri Dash. I mean, I want a good Witcher card. I don't want to force a bad Witcher card just so that I can play it early. Like Nova would be ideal. Nova would be ideal because oh no, actually no, she has Veil. Right? Does Nova lose her Veil? No, she doesn't, right? When she carries over to the next round, she doesn't lose her Veil. So Nova would be bad. Berenger can't really be played early. These Witchers kind of suck. Dude, Ard? Okay, we're probably gonna buff Ard this season as one of our provision or power. We're not. I think it's leaning towards provision. But even if Ard was 1 provision cheaper at 8 provisions, be a 10 for 8. Doesn't really have synergy with this deck. It's more of a movement card. Sunset is actually good. Yeah, maybe Sunset. Betsy draws cards which pushes Sunset, which delays Sunset Wanderers. That's pretty good. Yeah, maybe Sunset. And we could just... That's not bad. Madoc, but we don't want Vitality on Madoc. Madoc does come out early. We would need more than just Sunset Wanderers, though. I would need another Witcher. Regular series... I mean, the regular series would need a power buff at least before we could even consider her. Right now, it looks like basically sunsetting Geralt. Just play a Geralt and hope that maybe sometimes you just play a Geralt, like your opponent plays a 9 early or taller and there's a threat and you just remove it. Ciri at 5 would be insane. Would it though? Would it be insane? It's still an 8. It's still like basically a 4 or 5 provision bronze when you get it back the second time. And you would still want to mulligan her most of the time. She's just harder to remove. She's just harder to remove, but 5 is still relatively easy to remove. Is regular Siri a toxic card? I don't think so. I think regular Siri is not as toxic as Siri Dash. Siri Dash is really only toxic because of Defender. Like, if Defender didn't exist, would anyone call this card toxic? No way. I think it would maybe see some play. Even if she was buffed, right, and Defender didn't exist, I think she would maybe only see a little bit of play. She wouldn't be that toxic. You could play her with, like, Crystal Skull, and it would be hard to answer, but everybody plays some sort of removal nowadays. The token is a Witcher, so you could get some via mutation or something. Selective mutation. But this card sucks. This card needs to be 4P. Is Defender the toxic card? I think so. Vampire deck is already engine overload. Are we actually going to be a vampire deck? I guess, like, if you put in Fletter, then you're probably actually a vampire deck. I was originally thinking, like, this Plumard Troubadour deck did not have to be a vampire deck. You can use Trial to make a Witcher, you know. True, but then you're playing for 6 points. 6-point Trial to make a Witcher. Unless you have, like, Shield or something. This deck looks like a hot mess. That's why nobody plays Inspirational Ballad. I don't know if I'm not sure if we actually want to go down the, like, Fletter route. Yes, Plumards would be nice. Plumards would be better with Fletter, but, like, if we put Fletter in, we're locking in a lot of card slots, aren't we? Whereas I don't think we necessarily need Fletter. Ah, only one of them in there. Anyways, I don't know what leader to do yet, but something like this that gives us a couple of Witchers, 2 Witchers, which is not really great. 2 Witchers and 2 Troubadours. I guess 3 Troubadours. Wait, no, Truffle can't get Troubadour. So 2 Witchers, 2 Troubadour, 2 Witchers, 2 Dwarves, 3 Vampires. Because these 2 are vampires, or no, more than 3 vampires, like 5 vampires. Right, this deck already has 5 vampires. This gives us vampires, this gives us vampires, and this can give us vampire. And we can play, like, something like a Purify, like the Vampire Purify, which would give us another vampire. The mid-range kind of card. You need double Ballad? Oh, maybe not. Maybe you only need 1 Ballad. But, like, dude, if we're playing a Ballad deck, we play a 3rd payoff card. No? No? Is it too much? I guess we can only have 2 Witchers in the entire game and 2 Dwarves in the entire game. We don't want to play we don't want to play 3 Ballads. Okay, we play Highwayman. If we play Highwayman, this card is auto-include. He's also a human. We don't want the human Highwayman to get the Vitality, because then sending them back with the exposed effect would be really, really bad. If you use the Trial on a Vampire or Dwarf or Human to make it dual tags, will it buff twice? Holy crap, dude. I have no idea. I mean, reading it, I feel like it could. Choose the Witcher, give it 6 Vitality, and then choose the Dwarf, which is also the same unit as the Witcher, and give it 6 Vitality again. I feel like it should work, but I don't know how this is coded. It really depends on how this is coded. Like, if a unit is both a Witcher and a Dwarf at the same time. Real mad scientist hours. Oh, man. But that would be bad anyways, right? That would be bad to have Vitality 12. It would just take too long. While we're playing Witcher card, we can just infuse one instead, because infusing our own unit with Trial of the Grasses is not that many points. For it to survive, it would need to be 7 power. And if it's 7 power, you're only getting 6 points from this Trial of Grasses, and that's very bad. 6 for 6 that doesn't remove anything is very bad. And the only way that it infuses the Witcher category without killing it is it would need shield or armor. I mean, I guess Betsy has 2 armor, so you could play it on Betsy for 8 points, but Betsy's going to get answered a lot anyways. I really want to see this nonsense in action. Again, you can't play this in ST and use frogs. Armory. We are going to play Armory in the Golden Necker Dwarf stack. But I think we're getting a little bit too off topic here. Is there any other good dwarf? Yo. Sultan Scoundrel doesn't fit that well, because like to play Sultan Scoundrel, you have to play a really long round already and swarm the board. And then by that time, there's probably not enough time for the Inspirational Ballad to get that many turns. But Carlo Varese actually is good. Fits this deck because it's a dwarf that you want to play early. Okay, let's buff Carlo Varese. Project Inspirational Ballad is actually okay. I'm actually serious about this. Going to my spreadsheet, Balance Council ideas. And then writing over here, Project Inspirational Ballad. And then buff Carlo Varese. Plumard. Neutral Witchers. Neutral Witchers. Is there like neutral? Is there a neutral vampire? There is, right? There are some neutral vampires. But neutral vampires isn't as big of a deal because we're looking like we want to be monsters anyways. Where's the neutral vampires? Okay, there's not that many. There's these two. We don't want to buff this guy. Regis doesn't really work with this deck anyways, and Regis Higher Vampire is also doesn't really work with this deck. So, like, forget about the neutral vampires, but neutral witchers. This is what all of Gwent Evolution is leading to. Carlo is 10 provisions, yeah. Cleaver Brewer starts again. What can you even damage that early in the game? Maybe on red? Yeah, on red coin. I mean, I don't think that's Triton. I think Carlo Varese, if it got a couple of stat buffs, would not be that bad in terms of its condition, but you would have to draw him relatively early. That would be the main problem. But if you had him in your hand at the beginning of the round, or at the beginning of the game, I think he could get value very often. Obviously on red coin against TA and Crystal Skull stuff that's trying to protect engines. But like even without that, people play like an Istrid early, or you know, like a Rafard's Vengeance or a Demavend. You just like he just kills them. He kills them pretty efficiently if he were like 2 stats better. A lot of decks just open with engines nowadays, or open with threats nowadays, like an early Aquin, an early Dana, an early what else? Stuff that's like not that easy to answer, an early Sandor, or an early. There's just like so many, right? You'd be good at 4 for 9. Yeah, at 4 for 9, I think he would need to do like 6 damage to be kind of good. 5 or 6 damage to be probably 6 damage to be kind of good. Right? 4 for 9 with 6 damage. He would be like a junior that couldn't. Yeah, he would be kind of like a junior that would a little bit cheaper, but you have to draw him early, and you have to use him early in the round. You can't use him late in the round. It's like a more situational junior if he was 4 power 9 provisions and a little bit cheaper. So I think that's probably the stat line you would have to like aim for. Okay. So Carlo Varese would definitely help the inspirational ballad thing. There's not that many neutral dwarves, unfortunately. And Zoltan Scoundrel just doesn't fit the deck, but these two fit pretty well, and maybe that's enough. And then Witcher, neutral Witcher, neutral Witcher that you can kind of play early. Ard is part of that, and we're likely gonna buff Ard already this season. We also could consider regular Siri or vanilla Siri. What else would be a good candidate? It's really just Siri Dash, right? It's pretty much just Siri Dash. Maybe Lambert, but Lambert also has played late. So for this, I think it's like... You could also consider buffing Sunset Wanderers. I mean, how do you guys feel about Sunset Wanderers right now? Selective mutation if we had Adrenaline to draw. Adrenaline is basically Witchers. Chimera doesn't really fit this deck. Succubus doesn't really fit. Does it? I mean, we have a lot of card slots still, so we could... Like, we play Harpies, so maybe we could play Succubus? Huh. Huh. This is interesting. This is actually really interesting. Koshchey? This deck would not fit Koshchey. Koshchey is too much of a build around. So like monster adrenaline units would be Koshchey, Chimera, Succubus. Out of those, I think only Succubus. Wait, does this say card? Oh, it's any card. So Mysterious Puzzle Box has Adrenaline. You could use Selective Mutation to draw Mysterious Puzzle Box. And Mysterious Puzzle Box was talked about the thing from the box being you lose the auction on purpose, they play a 13, and then you finish with Big Plumards and Fletter synergy. Like, if you were to go the Fletter route, you could maybe go these two. Right? Why limited to monsters, though? NR should be much better. How is NR gonna get a good vampire? I think that's the limitation. Just, I guess Vincent? Vincent and Hubert? Wait, Vincent's not a vampire. Vincent's not a vampire. It's like NR only has one vampire. These neutral vampires are all really bad. That's the limiting factor for other factions, right? These neutral vampires are really, really bad for Inspirational Ballad. So you need a faction that has good vampires. So like just one vampire from Hubert isn't going to cut it. And it basically narrows down to monsters and maybe Nilfgaard. Vincent is a werewolf. Yeah. So like... There's only two faction possibilities for this Inspirational Ballad deck. It's either monsters or Nilfgaard, if you want to have any decent vampires. And this is good. This is an early vampire. This is an early vampire. But where's the struggle here? The struggle here would be Dwarf, I think. Like, I guess you could play it in like a Troubadour, kind of like a Troubadour bonded deck. You know how Nilfgaard had the Troubadour Knife Juggler deck? But if you're gonna go Troubadour, Like, what's a good target for Troubadour in this deck? Maybe you go Troubadour Illusionist? I don't know. I mean, honestly, Troubadour Plumard, Troubadour Illusionist, they both sound pretty bad. But the nice thing about the Monsters version, is that Troubadour has this option of playing Harpy, which is good. And Plumard's payoff for being bonded is seemingly, I guess it would be about the same as an Illusionist payoff for bonded. But Plumard can be played earlier in round 1, whereas Illusionist can't be played in round 1. So I think for multiple reasons, it's still Monsters that would play this Inspirational Ballad deck. Has any content creator even tried Inspirational Ballad in the past? They have to have, right? There's got to be somebody who's tried it. I just wonder which one is like the most successful Inspirational Ballad deck in the past. Carlo. I'm going to put Carlo in the deck. I think Carlo needs to go in the deck. Feels like a Bomblin type deck. Yes, it does. Carlo Varese is going to go in the deck. Oh, dude! Dude. You know what I just thought of? Cosimo transforms the 5 provision Highwaymen into 6P units, right? So he could get vampires. He could get dwarves. He could get witchers. Okay, if he gets this witcher is really bad. But he could get witchers. And of course he could get, right? Like Cosimo could actually be super clutch and get you a tag that you didn't have before. Like 6 bonus points in that case. Casino bronzes, yeah. Galaxy Brain. I was asking earlier, I don't know if you guys had any responses, I didn't see. But do any of you think, what do you guys think about Sunset Wanderer as a card? Do you think this card deserves to be buffed to 12 provisions or stay at 13 provisions? The sound? The sound of this card is the intro of the game? Well, I didn't know that. It came out as 10? I don't remember. I think it was 11? Let me check. Sunset Wanderers. It was 11. 11 and then immediately nerfed to 13 in one step. It was auto-include, indeed. It was auto-include. But at 11, it was auto-include. But that was back in the day, right? That was like 3 or 4 years ago. Would you ever buff to 2 power? I guess that's a consideration. But it's already going to go really, really tall. So like this buff to 2 power isn't even as much as a regular 1 power buff to most units. But I guess like if you think that 1 provision buff is too much for the card, then you could buff it 1 power to be a smaller buff, right? It would be a smaller buff to the card. And if you think 1 provision buff is too much, it lets you get value earlier for it. Sure, but like in most cases, you'd rather just have the 1 provision than the 1 power. Even if it comes out in round 1, you'd rather have the 1 provision than 1 power most of the time. But it's a consideration. Sunset Wanderer. Okay, and then like I'm not going to spend too much time to see what humans we could put in the deck. I'm pretty sure humans is not going to be an issue, even for the monster faction. But the deck would look something like this, right? How many Witchers do we have right now? 1, 2. We only have 2 Witchers. And we were considering like Vanilla Siri, Ard, or Dash. And also Sunset, also Selective Mutation, potentially. Used your shield deck last night. Breezed to easy rank 0. You're welcome, Jumbo Relic. Congrats. That's only the intro if you're the Geralt journey selected, right? Oh, yeah, I guess so. No, the Dandelion. Dandelion journey? Dandelion journey, no? Or is it Geralt journey? Maybe it's Geralt journey. If you could do SK somehow, you could get Witchers easy with Armored Up. Yeah, but SK can't get Witchers. Or sorry, not Witchers. SK can't get Vampires. Vampires is the most limiting one out of these 4 tags for other factions. Because we've got decent amount of neutral dwarves. And okay, like, neutral dwarves are okay. Neutral Witchers are okay. Neutral humans are obviously easy. Neutral dwarves is the second hardest because of Troubadour. You need to have a good bonded target for Troubadour, and I think it works best with Selena Harpy. We have 9 cards left to fill into this deck. 9 cards left to fill into this deck. We currently have 2 Witchers. We want a 3rd Witcher. Would you guys lean towards... Imagine if we could just like snap our fingers and buff any one of these Witchers to a stat where we would be happy to put it in this deck. Which card would that be? Still leaning towards these 3, but... What are you trying to make? We're trying to make an Inspirational Ballad deck. I know I don't think I'm gonna play it right now, but I'm just trying to theory craft it to see what exactly is missing in terms of viable cards of certain tags to make Inspirational Ballad a coherent deck. You want to swarm a bit so you don't double up on Vitality. It's not possible to double up on Vitality, is it? Or you're saying like if we play 2 ballads in the same round, I don't think we're... I think it's going to be very rare to play 2 ballads in the same round if we're going to play just 1 ballad. I think there is still a possibility that we would play 2 ballads and the Triss. Oh, you know what? Rune Mage works for this deck, right? Rune Mage helps with our Triss getting the Inspirational Ballad, which we may or may not need help with. But Rune Mage is a human that can also get another tag. I could use Rune Mage to get a vampire tag or a dwarf tag. Like if we're missing a dwarf in this round, we could go Rune Mage Scoia'tael and get a tag. If we're missing vampire, we go Rune Mage monsters and get a tag. Were you gonna go Mutation in Box? No. I think you only go Mutation in Box if you're playing Fletters, and I don't think we're gonna play Fletters. Looking at this, like you can't fit a Fletter into this deck and still have enough card slots for it to be good. Lights Off says dash. Art NK says dash. I would like to see Vanilla Siri again. I think like for the Witcher thing, I think Ard would be the most healthy, and then regular Vanilla Siri would be the middle healthiest, and then Siri Dash would be like the least healthiest in terms of cards to buff. That would also fit into this deck. So I would lean towards one of these 2. But is there really no other option for a Witcher that we would play early? There's sometimes we might play Geralt of Rivia early. Trio? I mean, we can't buff Trio anymore. And this, I don't think we ever really play. You usually don't play this early. Yeah, Vanilla Siri is the one that where you lose the round, you get her back. I think these 2 are the most interesting. But, like, if Vanilla Siri is also a little bit more conditional, wouldn't NG be better since NG has both vampires and witchers? Yeah, but NG has no good dwarf. Like, Troubadour's significantly worse in NG than it is in monsters, I think. We're not playing Carapace. I don't think we're playing Carapace. I just don't know what leader to use yet. It could be any leader. None of these cards really require a specific leader, right? Yeah. None of these cards require a specific leader at the moment. So it's flexible. So I'm putting in Ard for now. Is it worth it? Okay, assuming Ard gets a provision buff, is it worth it to play a 10 for 8 Ard? Just for Inspirational Ballad sometimes might make him better? 10 for 8 is like still 2 stats too bad. How often does Ard work as control? Like almost never? Only on melee units? Only on melee row units. Dude, Ard is row locked? Why is Ard row locked? Flavor. This is just a relic of Beta Gwent. The only reason why he's row locked, I think. Yeah, I'm not really sure if a 10 for 8 is really worth playing. Honestly, Vanilla Ciri might be a better fit for this deck because she like gives you a Witcher in round 2 or round 1 and then potentially gives you a Witcher again in another round. 6 power 8 provisions. 6 power 8 provisions is a little bit too much. I think he needs two buffs, like 5 power 8 provisions. 5 power 8 provisions would be 11 for 8. 11 for 8 is fairly good. It's okay. It's probably like 11 for 8 is probably just like okay. It's not bad. It's not game losing. And then there's synergies. Like you only play him if there's additional synergy on top of the 11 for 8, and that would be with movement Scoia'tael, like Milva or sentries, and then here for the tag, for the Witcher tag. Yeah, so either Vanilla Ciri or Ard. I think we'll probably put Ard for now because I think Ard is more likely to get a buff this season. Vanilla Ciri is not going to get a buff this season. Okay, so we got Witchers. We're done with Witchers. We're done with Dwarves. We're pretty much done with Vampires. How many humans do we have? Triss, Rune Mage, Cosimo. Highwaymen don't really count. Doragary, yeah, Doragary could be definitely an option. We could also play, if we think we want more vampires, we could also play, like I was suggesting, Queen of the Night. We could play Queen of the Night as a mid-range Purify Vampire. 9 for 6 is not amazing, but she's a 6-point Purify for 6 provisions. We could Purify Betsy. Betsy gets locked a lot. We could also Purify, like, Harpy Egg if these happen to get locked. Kind of meh. I don't think we're really going to need more vampires, honestly. You could even play Blood Scent as a mid-range leader, because Blood Scent creates a vampire for you. Caravan Vanguard could also work. Yeah, Caravan Vanguard could be okay since we're playing bonded units anyways. Wait, hold on. Betsy draws... Guys, if you have more than 2 bonded units in your deck, does Betsy let you choose, or is it random? It's random. That's a bummer. That's a bit of a bummer because, like, we have these 2 different bonded units in the deck, and much rather be able to choose, right? Given the situation on what you're missing and what you want. Or it could be the top two. It could also be the top two because draw usually means from the top. Draw implies from the top, right? So maybe we could like maybe play a Maxi and it will give you more information on what you're gonna draw. I don't know if Maxi really fits into this deck, but Maxi is a human, can be a mid-range human. What about Gascon Iron? Oh, dude, we're playing Rune Mage, and Gascon can make a Troubadour for another dwarf. He's a human and a dwarf at the same time. Oh, big brain. Someone was even talking about buffing Gascon in the Discord the other day. I was against it though because of Renfri's gang, but it's pretty interesting for this deck because we were already playing Rune Mage for Triss and for creating new tags, and Gascon could be like that. Could be beneficial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 options. We see 5 of them. So that's like a 62% chance. Is that right? 62% chance to find Troubadour. No, we need it now. Okay, I'm adding Gascon to the list of cards that we could potentially buff to encourage this archetype. But like, I mean, if we don't get the Troubadour isn't even that good. Like, what card do we actually love in terms of just value from this Gascon? I guess, okay, if Gascon got 1 stat buff and it was like a 4 for 9, right? If it was like a 4 for 9 and you rolled like a, I don't know, is it 7? Can we call this an average of 7? I don't even know if we can call this an average of 7. But let's say 7 if we're being generous. Then he's an 11 for 9. 11 for 9 with some armor. $11 for 9 with some armor. That you could end up playing like if you take this Troubadour, he would be a 9. Right? If you take this Troubadour, he would be a 9 for 9. Which is pretty bad. But sometimes you don't draw Troubadour in round 1, you want Troubadour to go with your Betsy. So like Gascon could be a 3rd Troubadour, potentially. What is this degeneracy? I love it. We are theory crafting the possibility of a future Inspirational Ballad deck and what we would need to buff to make this a coherent deck. I think this is actually a really good exercise for a lot of forward-looking Balance Council ideas, even though there's not really that many archetypes left that would be relevant for this sort of exercise. But like trying to look in the deck builder and imagine these cards that fit into this archetype. Imagine if they were buffed by 1, 2, 3 stats. What would we like? How would this archetype look if the pieces of the deck were actually competitive or viable? What if you try to build it for only 3 tags? Oh, for Inspirational Ballad, only 3 tags? Yeah, that might be good enough. It's still an 18, even if it was only 3 tags. But I want to be more ambitious. If you build it for 4 tags, a lot of the times it's only going to have 3 tags anyways, right? I think the best version of Inspirational Ballad deck would build it for 4 tags, but sometimes just accept the fact that it'll play for 12 for 5 or 18 for 5. Is Free Company unsalvageable? No, I don't think it's unsalvageable. Didn't it see play in the NG bonded deck. There is talk about this card came up somewhere in terms of like cards to buff as well. Would this card fit into this deck? Choose an allied bonded unit, then play its top copy from your deck. Well, the problem with that is like it only targets Harpy or Plumard, right? And it would be nice to play a Harpy from this if you haven't been able to draw it with Betsy. And it could target Plumard if there was just a Troubadour on the board. Troubadour spawning the Plumard or Troubadour spawning the Harpy. It could also target from that. So I guess it could target from all three of these cards. But it would get you a Harpy or a Plumard. There's not enough card. Like, I think this card has anti-synergy with Betsy. Because Betsy is going to draw them from your deck, draw them out of your deck, and then you're not going to have many left. You're already naturally not going to have many left, even if you didn't play the Betsy. And so this cooldown part is pretty wasted. Maybe something like Erendite, since we incentivize to get bodies out and ballad ASAP anyways. I don't know about the Erendite. That would be something maybe that comes later. Pretty sus about the Erendite. I don't think we play Free Company, though. I don't think we play Free Company. I don't think we play Gascon at the moment, but it is definitely a consideration. I mean, maybe we can put him in. He's kind of interesting. You're gonna have to buff him. He's another card that really needs a buff. Let's go back to human. Are there better humans? Ethne is gonna get a buff this season, Fly Ostrich. She's in Metallic Danny's list. What specials are you running for Triss? Currently only Inspirational Ballad. Do we need another special? It's better for our RNG if we don't run other bronze specials, but I'm not against it if there's a good candidate. All right, human. It doesn't have to be neutral. It could be anything. It could be monster or... Are there any monster humans? Apparently one. First Damsel. Doesn't really fit this deck, though. Yeah, you don't want to dilute the pool. You prefer not to dilute the pool because your opponent could be playing like 4, 5, 6 bronze neutral specials. Especially if they're like a Calvite deck, for example. Okay, so humans. Good humans that you would play in this deck. You could play Peller as a tech. You could play Caravan Vanguard for bodies, although I don't love this because this also dilutes the this dilutes the Betsy because Betsy is random, right? We don't want to necessarily draw these. Need to nerf all these 10s to 11s for Scholar. We could play Maxi. Lemons. Lemons is always a possibility, right? Just as like a tech card. Instead of a Squirrel, which Squirrel doesn't provide a good tag. But currently, this deck doesn't have that many engines. It has Betsy as a threat. Right? It's more of like a point slam deck right now. Betsy is a threat. And a point slam control deck right now, right? Betsy's like the only threat. You've got Carlo for control. You've got Dorgary for control. We could probably play like a Riptide in this deck. Heatwave in this deck. Do you need more thin? How much thin do we have at the moment? Sunset 1. Highwaymen 2-3. Yeah, we have 3 thin. So we would also want more thin. I see quite a big human there to play. Caldwell? Oh, no. I don't think we really need that many more humans. I think the human tag probably doesn't need to take priority at this point, and we're probably just looking for what is the best way to fill out the rest of this deck. Yeah, I don't see a ton of good humans here, but like the way we already have it, the way we have it right now, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already have 5 humans in this deck. We should be fine. Need Decree for Carlo. Yeah, we want Decree anyways. We want Decree anyways. For just thinning and consistency. Could also think about Oniro. But I think Decree is... We're short provisions. We're short provisions. We don't need to cut provisions. But the idea is, like, we're short provisions, right? So we're going to get 1 provision from Ard. We're going to get 1 provision from Carlo. 1 provision from Gascon, eventually, if we do buff these. Right? So that's 3 provisions. So we could be provision valid very soon. If we and maybe Sunset Wanderer could get a provision buff. So we could be provision valid pretty soon in, like, not this patch, but next patch. Gascon is also cuttable. Yep. If we cut Gascon, we could be provision valid this patch. After Ard gets buffed. Still don't know what leader to go with yet. Okay, I think the biggest thing in terms of filling out this deck, in terms of synergy and cohesiveness, is this Harpy part, right? What did our Arachaswarm deck have for Harpies? It had... I mean, it didn't really need too much stuff. The Arachaswarm deck didn't need too much stuff for Harpies. We ended up modifying Miamon's deck and putting in Archaspore and Giant Toad and Harpy Egg. But that's not really necessary. Like, we had... We had this in the deck. But it's really not necessary, I think. Hold on, dude. Hold on. Didn't we say something about Succubus? Hold on. Hold on a second. There's not enough early stuff to consume with this Toad, though. This leader is also a vampire, yeah. Overwhelming Hunger is maybe the way to go because the leader gives us a vampire and, like, it could have synergy with the Harpies. But I don't know about the Succubus. There's just not enough to consume with the Succubus. What I would maybe want to do is we look at Death Wish. We play some Death Wish cards. What are good, best Death Wish card to play? Harpy Egg? How good is Dettlaff Higher Vampire? Dettlaff Higher Vampire! Keyword Vampire! Oh my god. Are we cooking? Are we fucking cooking yet? I think we're cooking, chat. Okay, so how many consumes does this deck have? We have 1 consume from Betsy, or half a consume from Betsy. Betsy is optional consume, right? Optional consume from Betsy. because she might get answered. But we have consume from Harpy. The first Harpy that consumes something. If Betsy gets answered, right? There's a 1-power Harpy on the board with the Troubadour. Then we play a Harpy from hand, and that consume is wasted. So that first Harpy that consumes is going to target the Archospore, and that's going to cancel out. And then the second Harpy that consumes will target the egg that spawns from that Harpy. If Betsy gets to click, we'll get an extra consume. Betsy is potentially an extra consume, basically. Right now, first Harpy cancels out with Archospore, and then the double leader cancels out with Dettlaff. And then we would need a consume. We would need a consume for the last egg that spawned by the last Harpy that we play. We would need a consume for that. That could be the Betsy. So like we play Archospore, we play Betsy, we play Troubadour, then we bounce. If Betsy lives, she bounces the Harpy and eats the Archospore. But then there's nothing for the next Harpy to eat. Okay, so I need another Death Wish, I think. Well, it's weird. I need another Death Wish and I need another Consume. You really need Rune Mage? I think Rune Mage is good. I like the idea of something like... I think I still kind of like the idea of something like this. But we have too many slots now. Maybe we take out like an Ard? Maybe we just don't need this Ard? Like, we do want to avoid playing too many bad cards. Wow, we're just immediately at 0. We do want to avoid playing too many bad cards for the sake of Inspirational Ballad, right? Ard's still a couple of seasons away from being good. Carlo Varese might be like the only bad card that we would... Like, we could play this deck right now. Chat, are we playing this deck or are we playing Dwarves? Golden Necker Dwarves. I started the stream an hour and 15 minutes ago with the intention of jamming Golden Necker Dwarves armor. I feel like no one has tried Carlo. I need to know if he's strong or not. Well, he's not strong at 10 provisions, but we can fit him into the deck, so let's try it. Please, I need to see our hard work. Okay. I guess I'm not gonna like tease you guys so much and then not play the deck. Like we're too far gone now. Okay. So this deck is looking kind of similar to the Arrakis Swarm Harpy Morntart deck, right? Except we're missing Hive Mind and we're missing Morntart. That's a pretty big miss, to be honest. Right? I'm trying to compare this deck with our Arrakis Swarm Hive Mind Bonded Harpies deck. And we're also missing a lot of control. We're missing Heatwave, we're missing Muzzle, we're missing Morntart, we're missing Riptide. We're missing Roach and Best Boy and Parasite. I guess Parasite and Dorgary kind of cancel out. But we play more Point Slam. Like the Inspirational Ballad is insane in terms of Point Slam. I feel like the biggest thing we're missing here is we're missing control. What's this deck's third round plan? That's a great question. It doesn't have that Morntart, which was what we had as a third round plan before in the other deck. And it doesn't have like Hive Mind carryover. I feel like I would be more optimistic about this deck if we could play Not necessarily Morntart, but if we could play like Riptide or something. Higher Vampire is strong in a short round 3. Yes, this card is strong in short round 3. This is like an 18 for 10. But it's not like incredibly good. I mean, 18 for 10 is 18 for 10 is fairly good. Why am I typing 18? Morntart. Morntart was like an 18 for 10. Morntart was like an 18 for 10, but it like our leader is a 6. Problem is our leader's a 6. Arrakis Swarm leader was also not amazing. I just think the main drawback here in comparing the two decks is this deck has way less control. We have Geralt of Rivia and Carlo Varese instead of Heatwave and Muzzle. And then we have Doragary instead of Parasite, and we're missing a Riptide. Can we fit any of those cards like Heatwave, Muzzle, Riptide, or I don't think we want to play Parasite in this deck. Can we fit an extra control card into this deck? Can we cut like a Point Slam card and put in a control card? The only card I can think of to cut is Cosimo. Rune Mage, I really like the Rune Mage idea. I mean, I guess we could cut Rune Mage. Rune Mage could be cut as well. But Rune Mage for Scoia'tael sounds really good. For points, for dwarves, for witchers, for like Scoia'tael has good witchers, right? It has the Saboteur, it's the Cat Witcher, it has the Roe Witcher, which is okay, and it has the Vitality Witcher, the Adept is also good. Like they're all of Scoia'tael's witchers are pretty good. And then Rune Mage can give us Consumes, Death Wish if we need it, yeah. Cosmo's too unreliable. Cosmo in this deck has Highwaymen. It has the card that you spawn from Troubadour. It doesn't have the Roach and the Best Boy that the previous deck had. But without Cosmo, I feel like the Highwaymen can be a little bit of a liability. Although this deck has more bonded units than the other deck. So if the opponent is like sending our Highwaymen back into our deck, we have extra ways of pulling them out. Cosimo has not disappointed us though, as when we played in the other deck. It was like always pretty good. If we cut Cosimo, what control card could we fit? Manticore? I don't love Manticore. Is there a control monster leader? Not really. I mean, Arrakis Swarm a little bit. Like, what if we played Arrakis Swarm and Hive Mind? And then Morntart. Hive Mind is 11, right? Arrakis Swarm, Hive Mind, Morntart instead of Dettlaff and Rune Mage. Dettlaff, Rune Mage becomes Hive Mind, Morntart. Rune Mage can also sometimes be control, yeah. I think you and Lero should buff Mill to give due credit to J. William James and his mill preservation videos. I do think that it's admirable what J. William James is trying to do. I kind of disagree, though, personally, with the need to buff Mill. I do agree, like, Mill's like an interesting matchup a lot of times. It's different. Makes you think on your feet. It is weak. But if it were just up to me, I wouldn't mind Mill getting a reversion. But I think out of the... in terms of, like, making the lower ranks less unfun for a majority of lower ranked players, I think archetypes like Mill and Reavers probably don't need to be strong. But of course, there are also the people that just have fun playing Mill. I don't know. Do you think there's more people? I feel like there's more people that that are annoyed when playing against Mill and like wanting to quit because they have to keep playing against Mill than there are people that enjoy playing Mill. After more turn, you might as well just play the regular version of this deck. True, Dento. So if we cut Cosimo, what could we play for control? It was just Manticore and Tesha Mutinous Sword, maybe. I don't really love Tesha Mutinous Sword. Surrender? Not really control. Hey, thanks for the raid, Ross. We are we are cooking an inspirational ballad deck that has never been attempted before. And looking at maybe, you know, what cards would need to be buffed for this deck to work. And currently it looks like Carlo Varese is the #1 target to buff for this archetype's idea to be viable. And maybe Sunset Wanderers could be a #2 target. And then we also talked about like Ard and Vanilla Siri. Ard, Vanilla Siri, and Blumard itself. And Gascon Iron Falcon was another option that could fit well into this deck. Okay, I'm going to play this version of the deck, I guess. We'll keep the Cosimo, and we'll just have to suck it up a little bit and have a little less control than usual. Okay, what is this? Overwhelming Hunger. I'm putting this at the bottom of the monster section. Overwhelming Hunger, Inspirational Ballad, Plumard. Inspirational Ballad. And I'm just gonna say, don't try this. No, okay. Inspirational Ballad, Plumard. All right, it's there. It's there. Let's run it. I need to see how much this thins again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This deck thins 5. What stratagem are we playing? Curse Scroll. Curse Scroll to get Betsy, to put away Highwaymen, to get Troubadour. What else? Also, you want Toad, right? Like it's got the similar, and you also want Truffle, and it's also good for Sunset Wanderers. Yeah, and you also want it to get like Carlo, maybe. So yes, I think Curse Scroll makes a lot of sense for this deck. Okay. Oh my god, I have no idea. Dude, you know what would be crazy? Oh, dude, I'm at 2550. I'm at 2557 MMR, dude. Who wants some free MMR? Oh my god, we're donating. My monster MMR is 2557. Oh. It'd be crazy if you win all games. It would be. Oh, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're up against Koshchey? Remember the times you told me queue times are fast? Oh, this wasn't that long. This was not that long. Hey, Kerpidon. Okay, we're blue coin. We have a ballad. We have a curse scroll target. We don't need this. We gotta get rid of this. What do my eyes see? Okay. Koshchey, right? Koshchey. All right, what tags are we missing? We're missing a Witcher, I believe. And we also want to get Betsy, right? We also want to get Cosimo. Cosimo is also very, very important. We have one out of our 4 bonded cards in our hand. We'll play the card Left of the Sunset to start. Ballad is 5, yeah. It's 5. It's really, really cheap. It's maybe 24 points.
The righteous shall be recompensed.
It's not Renfri. Okay, it's Scenario.
This.
So,
these just
you did not mean cheap by 5? Dude, for its ceiling, it's really cheap. You thought it was 4? It was... I think CDPR wanted to make it 4 provisions. And I think people on the PTR Discord were against the idea of making it 4 provisions, that it was like too cheap. I think at 4 provisions, like people would just play this in a 2 tag deck. You can just play this card in a 2 tag deck. We could Cleaver here, but we already have a Dwarf. I feel like we don't have to. I panicked. I panicked. I should not have put the Highwayman back, but I was running out of time. So now I don't know what to put back. Now do we put back... Like, I have no card to put back with Cursed Scroll now. I want to play everything in this hand. I want to play every single card in this hand, somehow. Except maybe Rune Mage? So I should have put Rune Mage back and then Cursed Scroll the Bonded guy, the Highwayman. But Rune Mage is actually our only human. Oh, Rune Mages are our only human. Oh no, Cosimo's a human. We want to play Cosimo. Okay, so now we'll put Troubadour back, I guess. But if we put Troubadour back, we don't have a Dwarf. Ah! We're missing Dwarf and Witcher right now. And Vampire. We don't have a Vampire. What happened? We just... All our tags are... We don't have any tags. Okay. Okay. Like, if I play this, he's gonna kill this with the Damsel. He's gonna kill the thing with the Damsel. Okay, so, new plan. New plan now, I think. Maybe this is not such a great plan. Might not be. Oh my god! Saved! New plan. We get rid of the Dwarf. We gotta kill that thing. And now, what are we missing? We're missing Witcher and Vampire, right? This might come out for Witcher. This could be a Vampire, but we don't really want it to. Also, Leader could be a Vampire. So, I think we go for Witcher. By the time we get the tags, it'll be Adrenaline 2. Yeah, it's pretty slow to get the tags. No, okay, we'll get Sunset Wanderer will be our Witcher. Sunset Wanderer will be our Witcher. We have Dwarf, so we're looking for Vampire. Or Leader can get our Vampire. We have every tag, it just takes a while. The Harpy combo doesn't give us any tags. Is the main problem. You know? The Harpy combo doesn't give us any tags. Is our main problem. I'm gonna go monsters, I think. Because it gives us a vampire, or it gives us a Death Wish unit. You think Inspirational Ballad might be interesting with Frog Prisms? Yeah, but the problem with that is, like, Scoia'tael has no good vampires. Bruh. We're down a lot of points. We have time for 4 tags anyways? Maybe not. Okay. We're getting 7, 38. I'm at 38, he's at 43. I need 6 more points. I don't think we lead her. I don't think we lead her. Now we only have 4 turns, right? Now we only have 4 turns. It's too slow. Problem here is basically it's too slow. If I play this now, I have a dwarf, I have a human, and I have a witcher, and I don't have a vampire. I could lead her. So if I play this now, I'm getting 6 points of tempo, which is not enough. I think we lead her now. I probably should have lead her last turn. If I was going to lead her now, I probably should have lead her last turn. Oh! Okay, so, I mean, this is 4 turns. It's still 16 points. Actual 4 tag valid legendary moments. It doesn't target. Oh, yeah, it doesn't target, so it doesn't work with Prism. That's right. It's random. So, it's 16 for 5. We just played a 16 for 5. If we had a couple more turns, it would be a 24 for 5. Oh, man. Oh, we got heat waved. Okay, that's fine. Now we play this. But my grandma and wheel should be a play. Need Mata for this deck? Nah, Mata? Nah, we don't need Mata for this deck. Okay, this Cosmo is kind of bad. It's like, what are we gonna Cosmo now that the Highwaymen are gone? There's no Cosmo.
Our world is in harmony.
But, I mean, if we had Cosmo in this hand, it would have been nice. Cosmo instead of Rune Mage still would have been pretty good. Cosmo would have been the human, and we would have played for a ton of tempo. We have a pass. I want to play this Toad. But I think we lose if we pass. Yeah, I do think so. I think you're probably right. We probably lose if we pass. Carlos seems like not the best way to obtain a dwarf. Well, you could be right about that. I'm gonna click this. But I think like Carlo would be, if Carlo does fit into this deck. It's a dwarf that you want to play early. It fits into this deck, but it would be a card that we would buff, right? It would be a prime buff candidate to make this Inspirational Ballad idea work. Yeah, how do you get dwarf with monsters? Rune Mage is a way. Troubadour and Rune Mage. And maybe Gascon Iron Falcon into Troubadour. Okay, how many tags do we have in this round? We're missing... Oh, no, we have Human, Vampire, Dwarf, and Witcher. But I don't want to use this Geralt of Rivia. I want to save the Geralt of Rivia for Morntart, right? Well, is this... Does the scenario version of Thrive even play Morntart? I have, like, almost nothing left for round 3. But I feel like we should play... I kind of feel like we should play and just, like, shit out a bunch of tempo real quick. Like, the tag that we use up here is Vampire, but we can get Vampire again from these, and we can also get Vampire from this Troubadour. Not trusting ballads to outpoint Koshchey? I think we just play this tempo jam and then force out like a Kitty or a Koshchey or a Caranthir and then pass. Okay. And I would just pass now. Okay, he goes for Caranthir. I mean, he has to leader here to get ahead, right? Or does it even... I think leader gets him ahead here. If only Whisper did not have Veil. Oh, yeah, it would be really good for Prism. Yep. If he leaders here, he doesn't have Renfri to activate the Koshchey on the same turn, so he plays a Koshchey, we're going to lock the Koshchey. We still have answers left. Are we winning? Getting 20 vitality on one unit does not feel that good. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we might actually... It might actually be better to just cut Inspirational... Like, play one Inspirational Ballad and Triss instead of 2 Inspirational Ballads. This Harpy Egg, I have no way of consuming it anymore. So I guess we get rid of the Harpy Egg, we get rid of the Inspirational Ballad. Okay. I mean, this is probably one of the best hands, right? I think this is one of the best hands that we could have asked for. Dwarf, Vampire, Human, Witcher. Except Witcher, this Witcher is going to be played late, so it's not going to get the Inspirational Ballad. We could just go Inspirational Ballad immediately, and it'll be 15. Oh, never mind.
I do not mince words.
Hopefully he doesn't have a Purify. So now this Inspirational Ballad plays for 12, and Triss plays for... No. No, dude. It's so slow.
Scarlet dress, scarlet hands. How can I help?
Ding, 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 ding. Gonna be kinda close. Depends on if his last card is gonna be tall or not. Huge payoff. Oh, easy win. Oh my god, easiest win of my life! 100% win rate. 100% win rate deck! Holy crap. It's a Metabreaker. Oh my lord. What is this guy high MMR? Okay, 2505. Not too bad. Now we retire the deck. How did you win a game with this deck? Dude, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. We're on peak 20. All right, it's official. You can now officially say there is an Inspirational Ballad deck at 2563 MMR. How did we win playing a 16 for 5 and a 16 for 11? Yeah, I mean, no. Oh yeah, the Triss is a 16. Is it 11? I think it's more like 16 for 10, right? I wouldn't call this a 16 for 11 because you've already counted the 5 provision for the Inspirational Ballad putting it into the deck. I'm thinking about one thing I think we could do is we could cut the Inspirational Ballad to a 1 of. I'm not sure, like, this might make it difficult to draw one in round 1 because we'd really like to play one in round 1. Almost as good as Triss into Sesame or Freya. Yeah, dude. Hey, come on, Curviton. We're trying something fun, right? This is performed better than I thought in game 1. But things that we want to maybe change. Things that maybe we want to change. I need to test more to see how this extra Harpy Egg feels, if we really need it or not. And then what else? And this Cosimo. We also thought about, like, if we don't need this Inspirational Ballad, I could upgrade the Cosmo to an 8. Any good 8s here? There's Toad Prince for control. There's Best Boy for tempo. There's quite a few good 8s, right? There's Serquan, maybe. I don't think this deck swarms enough for Serquan, except for in round 1. But like probably Best Boy, Toad Prince, not Ethereal, Cyprian maybe, Aguera could be good. Another offensive lock plus a Purify for our Betsy, or a Purify for our Archispore or Harpy Egg. That could be okay. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a tag. That wouldn't happen with a 7-power Sunset. Oh yeah, that's true. Anything else you guys see that would fit this deck? Whispering Hillock. Whispering Hillock tutors Dettlaff and Harpy Egg and Archispore. There's only 3. I don't think we play Whispering Hillock. Naglfar. What do we say this deck thinned? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This deck thins 5. If we add another thin, it would thin 6, and we would almost have a perfect drawing hand in round 3. Maddock for Witcher. Could Sabbath bring out 3 tags in 1 turn? Dude, there's no way. There's no way it's gonna work with this. Wait, who is this? Carlo? Is that a misclick? No, it's not a misclick. Carlo actually in this deck. But to be honest, I think we'd probably rather play a Heatwave than Carlo and just like lose an Inspirational Ballad target. With him at 10 provisions, that's probably the smart thing to do. But I think if he got like not two provision buffs, but 2 stat buffs, I think like if he was a 4 for 9, he would be in a good spot to play over something like a Heatwave in this deck. But we're testing. We're testing to see how Carlo feels as a mechanic, and if it would be worthwhile to maybe consider buffing this card for either for just like not just this deck, but also for like a neutral control option. Right now we thin to 4. What are the 4 cards that we don't play? I have to add another card. I'm just looking at like what happens if we do best boy plus another 4. The hardest tag for us to get is human, right? That we can, like, we don't want to put a 4 provision vampire. We have enough vampires, especially leader gets us vampire, and we have Dettlaff as well. I think. Yeah. Shin gonna go 15-0 with this deck and then argue for Carlo buff. I mean, Carlo should get buffed, even if this deck goes 15-0. Carlo should get buffed. If this deck goes 15-0, the problem would be like Harpy Egg, I think. I think Harpy Egg's buff to 4 power was not really needed. We'll see. I'm not gonna go 15-0 at starting at 2557 MMR, dude. If you go 15-0, I'll use all my influence to buff Carlo. The human that we would play here is Peller, right? This would be the best human to play. And so we now have only 3 cards that we don't play, and that would be Peller, Plumard, and Troubadour, which I guess makes sense. Peller, Plumard, Troubadour, or Peller, Plumard, or Peller, Troubadour. I think we need to play at least 1 Troubadour, though. Or we want to play at least 1 Troubadour. Can't Highwayman steal the Vitality? Yeah, Highwayman can steal the Vitality because it's a human. That's why I had Cosmo before. Maybe we shouldn't change Cosmo just yet. Maybe we should try Cosmo a little bit more. Cosmo is really nice. It's a lot of points, but the main problem with Cosmo is you don't play him with the Highwayman. He kind of sucks, no? Kind of blows if you don't play him with the Highwayman. No, Cosmo's great when he's great. When you have him with the Highwayman, he's really good. Like even considering the low rolls and the average value and stuff, he's really good if you have him with the Highwayman. The problem is you don't always have him with the Highwayman. If we keep Cosimo, I could play some sort of 5 provision control card, or what else? What would we consider here at 5 provisions? Incubus is no good. Not for this deck. Cyclops for control could work. Cyclops control could totally work. We've got like targets for the it like has some Death Wish stuff in this deck too. We could also just play like probably not random Alp. None of these look that good. None of these look good. These humans. No, Cosmo cannot transform Highwayman into Highwayman. Does it go up a provision? It would get 6 provision cards. Angolim to steal Mahagam forward for double tag, easy. Human vampire. There's no Witcher here, right? And there's no dwarf here. Yeah, so At 5p, we can't really get... It's not going to be an efficient way to get tags at 5p. Like, we could consider just a control card. But what control card? Which control card? Cyclops, yeah? Cyclops makes sense. I think it makes the most sense. Could also consider second giant toad. I don't think that's too... I think that's going to be too much. I don't think we have enough Death Wish targets to consume to support 2 giant toads. Do we even want to cut the Inspirational Ballad, though? I don't even know if we want to cut the Inspirational Ballad. We're not changing the deck. We're not changing the deck. We're going to play the same deck again. Play a little bit more and get a feel for it if we actually want 2 copies of Ballad. If you're memeing already, you might as well go full meme. Okay. Oh, so I gotta change my title. My title's off. Okay. By the way, Shoop RT. What is Shoop RT? Remains so underplayed. I have 80% win rate of it. Oh. Soldiers. Yes, it's super good. Shoop Artifacts. Shoop Artifacts carryover. Are you playing Ale of the Ancestors? I agree with you. I've been the one shouting this from the top of the mountain for like 3 months. This deck is busted. And I also have really high win rate with it. Wow. Another Force of Nature? China wants to buff this leader. I don't know about that, but I mean, it doesn't see a lot of play. This is just low sample size, but I'm surprised to see 2 Force of Natures in a row. Ale, but different version? Yeah, you can share. We're red coin this time. Not the greatest hand. Okay. I'm missing a Cosmo / Betsy. Betsy would draw me 2... Oh, you know what's cool? Betsy could replace the Plumards with Solano Harpies. That's kind of cool. But, I'm missing Cosimo. Problem with this hand is we're missing Cosimo. What if we don't play the Harpy combo in this round? Yeah! That is the way to go, right? We don't play... I think that's the way to go. We don't play the Harpy combo in this round. We play Plumard combo, and we roll Decree Cosimo. Okay, so then we go Toad. Toad, and then Troubadour into Plumard, and then Plumard, and then... Yeah, Toad, Troubadour into Plumard, and then Plumard again, and then Cosimo, and then Plumard again. Oh, he's giving us Plumard targets. Okay, it's
The only
Renfri.
good mage is a dead mage.
He's giving us Plumard targets. Dude, both Plumard and Inspirational Ballad take so many turns to get the Vitality and Bleed. What? All right, thanks for sharing, Ross Maris. Dude, this guy just took Curse of Greed for double Cursed Scroll. Okay. We're gonna play this here so that maybe we'll give us a backup target for Cosimo. Oh shit. Betsy mirror match.
The mist's gonna pass me those lovely earrings.
I think we
Or
do
tear 'em off
this
myself?
because I don't want him to. He probably plays the the plant consume thing, right?
Stay true to our way, we must always.
So I don't want him to consume this. He's holding this? Okay, at this point, I want to get the ballad going. We have dwarf, we have vampire. The real question is, will ballad play more than larva? Shoot. That is a good point. I don't have a Witcher. Witcher's a really tough tag for this deck. Okay, Cosimo gets us a Witcher. Also, the Carlo Varese is sucking. Why are none of these Witchers? Hey, Kareem. Maybe. I'm trying different things. It might be to go for 3 tags. I think we could play a 15-point ballad right now. We could also go Rune Mage for Scoia'tael or Nilfgaard. I think Scoia'tael has the best Witchers. Or maybe Skellige? Their Witcher's okay. Mentor's not great. I kind of think we're not winning this round. Is the problem. I think we're gonna do this and maybe save our Sunset. Sunset's gonna come out next round if we don't pass. Okay. I'm getting another 6, 7, 15. Is that right? Getting 6, 14, 15, 53. This is enough. Come on, any math? Dude, look at that ballad tempo. Okay, this ballad played for what, 9 points? It played for 9 tempo. That's not bad for 5-piece card. It's not that bad. And what is the round? Not that terrible, right? We have a toad in the graveyard. This card's really bad. This card's super, super bad. How do we like this hand? I guess we get rid of our... I think we get... Maybe we... Oh. I want a mulligan again. I think I made a mistake. Okay, I think again here we probably do this and then pass. Same idea versus the Koshchey. We just tempo out and pass and make him to force him cards down, and then go for a somewhat long round 3. We get the pig. We get the sorry, not piggy, but the kitty again. And I think we just pass now. Right? His curse isn't up from Renfri. This is just a pass. We have a lot of points still. It's very deja vu, isn't this? Super deja vu, except this time he doesn't have a leader. And so we get card advantage. And there's one Koshchey left, no leader to go with it. Honestly, if you're playing Troubadour and the target is human, witch, or vampire, you can play Ballad with even just 2 targets. Yeah. I'm feeling like we're cutting the Varese, the Carlo. I think that probably improves the deck, and you just play Heatwave instead. Too bad we can't play Eskel. Eskel would be very nice for this deck. If we didn't have to play humans, we could maybe get in an Eskel. Nice. Okay, double last say. We gotta figure out what are the cards that we actually want to play. Like, I'm drawing 2 more Harpies. What are the Harpies gonna replace? This deck is definitely playing a Morntart. So we want to keep this. This is our answer for... What the... Again? The Sunset is also kind of ass. Yeah, the Witchers are a big problem for this deck, huh? I mean, Sunset was 8 points last game. 8 points. Plus like an 8. It's like a 16 for 13. 16 for 13 on the upside. It's fine. We gotta replace 2 cards. I think one of them is gonna be Rune Mage. Honestly. Because this is guaranteed. Oh crap, chat, I'm doing this wrong. I need to not... I shouldn't have played this. This is too slow. I needed to play, like, my Dwarf. And then my Human. I need to play... Oh no, this is... But I need a leader to get a Vampire. It's really weird. It's really weird. I need a leader to get a Vampire. He's about to play Koshchey. Next turn I'm going to play Doragary. We got to play our Dwarf, too. We dwarf for Harpy, right? Because we're gonna play a bunch of Harpies. Maybe we put Betsy back. Maybe the actual right answer is we put Betsy back and we just don't play the Harpies. We play one bonded Harpy with this.
Mankind is a virus, a plague.
Oh wait, I can't put Betsy back. If I don't play Betsy, I can't put Betsy back. What am I smoking? Okay. So now we do this with a 3-tag thing. I lose 6 points from using this consume. I lose 6 points from using this consume. I only gain 5 points from getting a vampire on the board. So, okay, so it's this. It's actually this, then. I should have, we could have played this one turn earlier. We could have played this Triss for 16. It plays for 14-ish now, but we could have played it for 16. Wait, what's wrong? Didn't we want a leader? No, because if we leader, this leader can eat a Harpy egg. This leader eats a Harpy egg. At the end of this Harpy chain, it eats a Harpy egg. And it's worth 6 extra points. If I eat something else... If I eat now, then I don't eat the last Harpy egg, and then I gain 5 points from the Vitality on the Triss. It's not as good, right? Oh, I shouldn't have played this here. Why did I play this here? Last card is Morntart? Morvud and Morntart? God, we're winning again. I think we're winning again. Easy. Okay, we're down 30. But we have double last say. Look at the Harpy value. Oh, the Harpy. Dude, I don't even need to play this Geralt of Rivia. Dude, look at how much we win by. We win by so incredibly much. We win by 40 points. Holy cow. Dude, is this deck busted? 15-0, here we come. Okay, this guy's not as high MMR. This guy was 2470 something. 2470 something. The other guy was 2505. I mean, we gotta wait. This was 2 matchups in a row that were the same matchup, essentially. But... I'm starting to suspect this is just a Harpy deck disguised as a cool ballad deck. Yeah, Harpies seem too good, to be honest. The Harpy package seems too good. All right, I'm leaning towards cutting Carlo. What do you guys think about Carlo? Do we keep him still? Just cut him? He's pretty bad. Like, we could be playing a Heatwave instead of Carlo. I mean, it might be better than a Heatwave in some situations. In some situations, it could be better than a Heatwave. It could be like 9 points better than a Heatwave. Okay. I have a thought here, right? Carlo's a round 1 card, correct? With the way this deck plays, you're almost never gonna get that good of a Carlo in round 2 or round 3. He's basically a round 1 card. In round 1, don't we already want to play Troubadour? In most of our round 1s? Whether or not we're playing... If we're playing Harpy combo, we definitely want to play Troubadour. If we're playing Plumard combo, we also kind of want to play Troubadour. because it gives us like at least 3-4 extra points on the first Plumard that we play from hand. So he's already going to give us the dwarf tag in round 1. Then like why do we play Carlo? Because Carlo's mostly going to be a dwarf tag in round 1. Do we need 2 Plumards? We don't need 2 Plumards, but what would you want to play instead? Can't you add Skoya Runestone to have higher odds? We can't add Skoya Runestone. Skoya Runestone is a Skoyatel card. You can choose Skoya Runestone from Rune Mage, but you can't put Skoya Runestone in a non-Skoyatel deck. It does make Betsy better to remove this, but Plumard is not a bad card in this deck. If we have Troubadour into a Plumard, it's not a... I mean, it's okay. Kind of just okay. We might also just play a Plumard. Like, we need Vampire Body in round 1, right? I don't always want to use a leader in round 1, so we might just play a Plumard, use Troubadour for Harpy, play a Plumard as a 6 in round 1 that also gets 6 Vitality, so like as a 12. Just to get the Vampire Body if we don't leader. Ten Provisions, Heatwave? Regis Bloodlust? No. Can't play Eskull, sadly. What was it we were trying to create with this deck again? We're testing Inspirational Ballad to see if Inspirational Ballad is any good. I'm really starting to think we should cut this. Okay, actually, no. Maybe we don't cut it, but it might be a card that we just don't play. We put 2 copies of Inspirational Ballad into the deck to increase the chance that we get an Inspirational Ballad in round 1. And then we just mulligan 1 and never play it in round 3. This deck has 4 cards it doesn't play, right? One of them is going to be the second Inspirational Ballad, and then 3 4P cards. Like, 2 Plumards, and... This is kind of weird. This is kind of weird. There's 4 cards that we can't play in a game, but there's not 4 good cards that I'm willing to not see. Okay, one is the second Inspirational Ballad. The 2 Plumards I'm maybe willing to never play, but then I don't want to miss a Harpy. I don't want to miss a... Maybe it's Toad sometimes. Maybe it's Harpy Egg sometimes. I don't know. Maybe it's Harpy Egg sometimes. But then, like, we're floating 2 provisions, right? If often 2 of the cards that we don't play are 5P cards, we're kind of floating 2 provisions here. Maddock plus Sapper gives 2 tags in 1 turn. Dude. Maybe you're onto something, dude. It also thins. I was kind of like, whatever about the Maddock, but I was like, okay, Maddock's not a good target because you want to be able to click him, and putting Vitality on him doesn't make him clickable. But what if you just play Maddock to, like, just 1 time each round? You're memeing? What if you just play Maddock 1 time each round to get a Witcher out early? Yeah, Maddock's the Witcher in the foreground that is his back to you. Okay, look. Maddock's overcosted. But if Maddock were reverted to 10p, maybe this could be actually a serious idea. Maybe. I'm trying to think here what we can do to improve. Or maybe even like a Parasite for removal. or like a lemons. I'm thinking we downgrade the Harpy Egg now. I think we downgrade the Harpy Egg for a 4P Death Wish card. And then we just don't always play it like this. Like Bridge Troll or maybe Foglet. Probably Bridge Troll because, I mean, Foglet's more points. Foglet's more points, but it's gonna get played in the spot where the Harpy Egg gets played, and it's usually, that's usually like really short to medium rounds. And we might need to play this late because neither the Foglet nor the Giant Toad are tags for Inspirational Ballad. And this is still like an 8 for 4, kind of. Instead of a 10 for 5. The egg is. Hey, Toaster. So what would be the 4 cards that we don't play in this deck? It would be Plumard, Bridge Troll, Plumard, Bridge Troll, Troubadour? It's still a little weird. Can we thin one more? Like instead of either Heat Wave or Queen of the Night, could we thin one more? Or maybe instead of Cosimo, we could have thinned one more if we upgraded Cosimo to Best Boy, right? Let's try this. So what do we net do? We took Inspirational Ballad and Harpy Egg and changed it to Queen of the Night and Bridge Troll. I think Wanderer should get buffed to 12 provisions. Yeah, I think Wanderer could use 1 stat buff, whether it's 12 provisions or 2 power. I think it could use 1 stat buff. I'm not sure which one is best. Hi, Dondi. Geralt Quen, maybe? Geralt Quen. I mean, there's not enough Witchers. There's 1 Witcher that starts in our hand. Yeah, I mean, no Geralt Quen. You're thinking on voting on that? I mean, I don't think any of the influential Balance Council coalitions are going to be voting to buff Wanderers this season. So I think if you vote for it this time, it's probably going to get wasted. It's not going to go through. But maybe it's something to consider for the future. And maybe we can think about it next season. Toussaint Hospitality. Or blue. Okay. I don't have a dwarf. I also don't have a Inspirational Ballad, which is pretty bad. I'm going to Curse Scroll. Do we want to Curse Scroll Betsy?
A fine vintage it would have made.
Do we want to Curse Scroll Betsy? Do we want to Curse Scroll a Ballad into our hand? This is what I mean, right? Like we cut one of the ballads and now we don't have a ballad in round 1. We have a human. First Scroll Betsy seems probably the best. I wouldn't get Triss. Triss is much better later because she, in later rounds it's shorter, it's harder to get this human body. So Triss provides a human body on her own while she brings the ballad out at the same time. So, I think it's Betsy. I think we put the 2 Plumards back. We have this for we have this for vampire body or leader. Oh crap! I don't have a troubadour. Shoot. Ah, maybe we shouldn't have taken Betsy because I don't have a troubadour. Maybe the card we should have taken was troubadour. Oh, maybe the card that we should have taken was troubadour. And take the 4P neutral garbage card. That gets us an extra tag, right? Monka.
Order will triumph. It must triumph.
I'm kind of thinking we go truffle this turn. To might be golden necker with.
You can pay the toll in one of 2 ways. In silver or in blood.
You guys want to bounce this harpy now or wait? He's buffing this. He's not buffing a bronze in terms of the tallest unit. And he's not going to hurt our stuff. He's not going to hit our stuff. The more likely scenario is he buffs this. The more likely scenario is he buffs the 7 and then we lose points on it.
Let us settle this once and for all.
That's kind of funny. We can bleed this. We go Cosimo first, I think. This is not buffing yet. And we don't want this to proc before the Cosimo. Oh yeah! Oh yeah, baby! Holy cow. I want to try to win this round without using the Geralt, if possible. But we might have to. I really wish I had an Inspirational Ballad right now. Right? Okay, is this the turn where we Queen of the Night this? It's not actually bad for us. We have more units than he does. We're gonna have like 3 more units. We'll be at 12 units. No, 11 units. He'll be at maybe like 8 units. But it does buff his Kahir. The problem is it buffs his Kahir, and it's bad for us if we don't want to play the Geralt of Rivia in this round, and we kind of don't.
Your deepest, darkest dreams, I can make them real.
He might just buff it anyways, though. It might still get buffed. Oh, we got a heat wave. That's very nice. Too bad it's not an Inspirational Ballad. Inspirational Ballad is still played for 12 points here.
In Beauclair, tradition is sacred.
Oh, wow.
Onward!
Oh my god, the Toussaint Hospitality passive went onto the Night Challenger. It's fine. Now that we got the heat wave, I think we're going to be able to answer this. We're still within striking distance of winning this round. Do you have the link to Mantle's Discord? Okay. Good news is there's no Ivar. He hasn't played Ivar. I need 12? This only gets me 10? Chat, do you guys think we should heat wave first? If I heat wave first, he just passes. And then I don't get to play my Toad. And I would like to play my Toad. But if I play my Toad... Okay. Should we click this? About that Cyclops that we did not add, yeah. I think maybe he won't pass. I'm gonna greed. I don't think he's gonna pass. Rain Farm. That's why I played it here. Rain Farm. Okay. Play or pass? I don't think we pass, right? We play here. We play here and we play the Heat Wave. 63. 63. We're down 42, so we'll be up 21. We'll be up 21. Do we click this or no? I think we don't click this because I think like for him to do 21 points, he has to tall punish this Scowl. For him to do 21 points, he has to tall punish this Scowl, and if he tall punishes this Scowl, clicking this, I'm only up 27, I'm still gonna lose. So I think we don't click this, and if he doesn't have another tall punish, then we win the round, we get to keep this. Woohoo! Alright. This is looking good. We won the round, and this is short. It's a short round now. It's actually looking kinda good. We still have another tall punish. I want to keep mulliganing. I placed this in the wrong row. This should have gone front row because now if I play the stuff in the back, it's not going to be together. Eek. A bit of a problem. This goes tall, which is bad. Maybe, oh, I should have played Rune Mage first. Yeah. I should have played Rune Mage first, and then played that. Rune Mage here to the left of the truffle, then played that, and then click the truffle. And then the Detlaf will go with the 2 leader charges. So, gross. So Master of Puppets plays for 20? Okay. Master of Puppets plays for 20? What card do we want to take here? For proactive point slam. Mentor? I guess Diviner's nice.
All these signs can mean but one thing.
I think we do it like this. We don't buff this because this basically means he has a Master of Puppets in his hand, right?
Turn your foe's strength against him. That's the trick.
Okay, chat. Pass or Geralt? Master of Puppets now plays for 12. He's gonna have a Beauclair, right? I would pass. Decree is gonna be either Detlaf or Triss, whichever one we miss. Hopefully we don't miss both. I think it's a pass here. I think we're still gonna get Geralt value in round 3. But I hope I'm... Holy! Okay, it was Regis Hire Vampire, not puppets. I'm a little... I'm a little bit worried that we might not get a Geralt, but we're probably fine. Okay, Royal Decree gets us a Lock or a Plumard. This is a good hand. This is like the best hand you can get, right? We also purified our Toad, by the way. That was very nice. We got 4 extra points from purifying our Toad. Wait, that's gonna cuck our Troubadour. Wow. Dang it. I think we just play the Troubadour anyways. And we just play it anyways. He's not gonna even be able to spend this on... I guess he could buff it. He could buff it to spend it on something else.
Bow before Nilfgaard's rightful empress.
He's gonna have Sangreal, right? Okay, we wait. Or I could eat this. Yeah, I guess we eat this. We have an extra consume. Hold. I have a Geralt, but I can Geralt this. He's gonna play it something. I can just Geralt this and eat the Falsiri. And the Sangreal sucks. Woo! Okay. Are you putting the second Inspirational Ballad back in after this? No, I actually kind of like this Queen of the Night. 3-0. We're 3-0, yeah. I actually kind of like this Queen of the Night because it's a more impactful vampire that we can kind of play on its own. And then we don't have to play the Plumards. Like, in order to get this Inspirational Ballad back, we would have to sacrifice Queen of the Night, downgrade Queen of the Night to the second Inspirational Ballad, and bring this back up to Harpy Egg. Like, remember we were saying how, like, there's 4 cards we don't play in this deck. And we want those 4 cards to be double Plumard, Troubadour. I mean, okay. Got another question for you guys. Why do we even have Plumards in this deck? Why are they in this deck? If the ideal game plan is to never play the Plumards, why are they in the deck? We have enough vampires without the Plumards. We have Queen of the Night, we have Dettlaff, we have Leader Charge. Leader Charge just gets us a vampire whenever we want. And it's not really wasteful because we have enough Death Wish. In every round, we're going to have Death Wish cards to benefit from the overwhelming hunger. We only want to play Ballad in 2 rounds, yeah. This deck can't really play Ballad in 3 rounds. And Ballad, like, there's not high enough number of, like, Witchers and Dwarves for the Ballad to randomly go on different Witchers or different Dwarves. If you play 2 Ballads in the same round, they'll just stack on the same, they'll stack on the same unit, and it will not be good. Basically, this is a Harpy deck with control at this point. No, this is a Harpy deck with Ballad. This is a Harpy deck with Ballad. It's just an alternative version of Harpies with Ballad. We need Leader exclusively for Dettlaff 90% of the time. Well, we have Toad. 1 Toad will get Dettlaff. I actually think, like... I think cutting this makes a lot of sense. Because then there's no RNG on the Betsy. Maybe we play 1 Plumard? Because I do want, like, a I do want like a cheap vampire to play in round 1, like either Queen of the Night vampire or like or a low provision vampire. I don't want to have to force myself to use a leader in round 1 to get the vampire tag, and we don't want to play Dettlaff in round 1, right? So maybe it's like 1 Plumard. And that also gives us a Troubadour that could potentially spawn a vampire. And then with the other 4 provision card, we could play a tech. We could play a squirrel. We could play a... I don't think we need another Peller since we got the Queen of the Night. But we could play a squirrel. Or like spores or something. But I think we're maybe okay since we have Geralt and Heatwave already. We don't need spores. If only we could play like... Or we could play another Death Wish card. That could also be okay. I think we have a good ratio right now. Random question for you. Do you have every card, journey, and reward book unlocked? I have every reward book unlocked, every journey unlocked, and not... Do I have every card unlocked? I think not even long ago, I think not even like less than a year ago, I had a card that I just never crafted. Why change if winning? Oh, I don't have Ship Ballista, apparently. I don't own Ship Ballista. Never played the card. I have played the card in decks that, like, create it, but I have not played the card, like, in the starting deck. Why change if winning? Because just because you're winning doesn't mean you can't make it better, right? I do think it makes a lot of sense that if we don't want to play the Plumards, why are there 2 of them in the deck? Small change. It's just a small change. Squirrel's high impact. I should call this deck Inspirational Ballad Harpies, because it is basically a Harpy deck. And we're also going to move it up. It's no longer going to be bottom tier of monsters. I'm moving it up to 3rd place. It's won 3 games at 2560. Okay. Yeah, I made minor changes every game so far. We're really glad we added that Heatwave in instead of the Carlo Varese, right? Although, if we had Carlo in our starting hand, we could have killed the Kahir. Only thing I'm seeing so far is Dettlaff plus Overwhelming Hunger is better than Hive Mind plus Arrakis Swarm. That might be true. I'm not sure. Can we do some math on that? Like, Arrakis Swarm gives you some control elements to it. The Stalker and some carryover elements, right? The Stalker and the Hive Mind carryover can be really nice, but it's also really susceptible to Squirrel. And other than Hive Mind, there's nothing really to Squirrel in that deck. I stopped playing Oniro in that deck. Oh, there's Toad. I guess there's Giant Toad that you can Squirrel, but Giant Toad Squirrel is not as anywhere close to the impact of Hive Mind getting Squirreled. Now that we added Squirrel, Ballad is never getting played? Why do you say that? We don't have to play Squirrel. Most games we're probably not going to play Squirrel. Was there ever a meta deck that played more than 25 cards? Yes. There was 40 card full test. There's like big Colgrim. Like really big, what is it, Calvite Colgrim? I think. That clogged, that milled your opponent's deck, and you started with like a 30-something card deck, 33 card deck or so. Enslave 7, Enslave 8 Colgrim. That's not meta. I wouldn't say that was ever really meta, but there was 40 card full test in beta that was meta. And then since Homecoming, there was some meta decks that were over 25 cards. There was a 26 card, a lot of like Renfri 26 card decks were meta at some point. There was a 26 card Renfri Compass deck that was actually really good relatively recently, where you would Renfri to change your leader to neutral leader, and then Compass for Regis Bloodlust at 20 power or 19 power, and Renfri Gluttony on the Regis Bloodlust at the end of round 3. Renfri Bounty? I don't remember Renfri Bounty with Candle. Oh, we're up against statuses.
Impertinence is the one thing
We played Denny yesterday. He's playing status NG. Get rid of one of these. This gets us Cosimo. I think we get rid of this. Nice. Without Compass was better? Oh, okay. Maybe. Our opponent, I think, is playing this deck. What do we do? I don't have that much control. I have a Lock, a Heat Wave, and a Geralt of Rivia for his like 12 threats. We have Squirrel for coup if we really need it. I don't think he has a Purify. He doesn't play Philippe. Okay, I think we lock this.
I do not mince words on principle.
I think we lock this. We tall punish Dame and try to push ball out in round 2, and then we have one more Heat Wave for something, for like Joachim into a threat. And then everything else doesn't get answered.
Or Nightshade.
Okay, I kind of don't care. Right? Don't care too much about that. This will draw us a Plumard and a Harpy. What do we put back though? I don't have many cards to put back. I think we put back Plumard. I don't think we're gonna play an Inspirational Ballad in this round, are we? Yeah, I think we put back Plumard and Triss. Maybe Plumard and Heatwave? Maybe Plumard and Heatwave, honestly. Maybe that's a troll play. I think we try to save the Heatwave for later, and we just keep one answer now.
Detest intruders.
Do you guys want to purify this, or do you guys want to You want to purify this, or do you want to play Cosimo? Hey, Rashid. Sorry about the mill nerf. Well, it wasn't my idea, but Mill has taken a lot of hits, for sure. I think we're going to play Triss in this round, now that I think about it. I think we take Cosimo. Cosimo's just too good. I should have played this front row. That was a bit of a mistake. Not just Cosimo's too good, but Cosimo's too dependent on round 1. We're still ahead on even right now. This is nice that the Sunset Wanderer just keeps... We just keep playing to the left of the Sunset Wanderer right now. It's still all the way at the left. When can we play this Triss? I need a Vampire, and I need a Witcher. I can't play this Triss anytime early. It's going to be very late in the round. Okay. I'm the vampire that if I play Cosimo from this, the vampire that I get is going to be from Overwhelming Hunger.
You need but summon. I am at your service.
Pretty meh.
Stick 'em up.
We lost a Thin.
Now!
We lost a Thin, so this is a card we're never going to play. We're ahead on even. He hasn't played a single gold yet. There's no Ard Fane that's come out. Cosimo's next.
Gentlemen, to work.
I'm going to lock this, poison this. Okay. So that's maybe our Geralt. Oh, should I have eaten the poison? Yes, I should have eaten the poison. That was silly of me. I definitely should have eaten the poison. We're probably getting punished for that. Are we ahead? Yeah, we're ahead. This is a... What does this do? Soldier? Pretty low roll. This is rolling by 2 a turn. Could have had 6 more points. Damn.
Drinking can be hazardous to your health.
We play this other Harpy now. Does he even have another poison? Like, does his deck physically contain another poison? He's played these 2. He hasn't played Ball. There's no Philippe. There's Servant, but Servant can't poison this card. So there's no Cupbearer in this deck. So I think this is just to grow the Admiral. I'm wondering if I should play the Geralt of Rivia now on the Admiral Rumpali. No, probably not. Probably just this. We need to get the bonded guys. Wait, no, the bonded guys are out already. Eating Joachim is also pretty nice. Okay. He only has lock or spying to put stuff on. That's fine. Locking this Harpy egg, Jesus. Both of my Witchers are going to be on. I haven't really been able to get any Witcher value on my That's what I've been noticing with this deck. We haven't really been able to get any Witcher value on our ballads.
Nature's a fickle beast.
Hmm. What do we do here? I don't need that many points. I'm kind of thinking we leader the Joachim. Leader the Joachim Triss Ballad. It's really expensive. Maybe we don't leader. Maybe we just ballad. That's very good. That's a very good card. Because this leader, I need this leader for the Dettlaff. And I haven't played a Toad in this round, so like we're really short on Woo!